Hello everyone, it's the Uncensored Match Build-Up Show. Liverpool taking on Stoke at a stadium in Stoke that I'm going to call the Britannia Stadium, to be perfectly honest, because that's what it will forever be to me. Chris is here and John's here as well. We're going to get stuck straight into it then. Chris has some stats to tell us about Stoke and around this game. It's been thoroughly researched by John this week. So if it's wrong, we know who to blame immediately. Do you want to talk us through it?
Yeah, of course. Well, for a bogey side, Stoke have lost 6 of their last 7 league games against Liverpool. Liverpool have won 4-1 in Jurgen Klopp's 2 previous Premier League games against Stoke. Nice. Liverpool are winless though in 5 away games, drawn 3, lost 2. We haven't gone 6 without a win away from home in the Premier League since January 2011. Let's hope that is the case. Jonathan Walters, who is a slight doubt for this game, has scored 6 against Liverpool, more than he scored against any other opponent. He didn't start. He didn't start in the 1-0 loss to Burnley at the weekday. He played with Alan and Berahino behind Arnautovic. So whether Walters will come back in or not sure. Stoke have lost only once in their last 9 home games. That was against Chelsea. They've won 4, drawn 4. And Liverpool have already scored more Premier League goals in 2016-17 than they did all the last season, 66-63.
I totally forgotten about Saido Berahino, and I can't even begin to imagine what the Twitter fume will be like if he scores. Let's just say an important goal. No, but it doesn't matter. There'll be people who will find the arsedness within from deep within.
What about Joe Allen? He won't be asked about if he scored.
Yeah, true. Yeah, but there's the sound of Berahino stuff because it's that whole, because he's a player that's moved. And Liverpool have got, there's about our goals.
There'll be loads of memes of Brendan Rodgers giving everyone the thumbs up. Transfer committee.
Yeah, absolutely. The Joe Allen stuff too. Thanks, Chris. I'd not even considered that. We've just recorded the final word after the Bournemouth game. So this is to kind of continue the conversation from there. John, it's if midweek taught us anything, it's that it's not going to be an easy ride between now and the end of the season if Liverpool want to secure top 4.
No, we seem content to make it hard for ourselves, don't we? You know what I mean? Like, we could have put a bit of distance between us and everybody else around us and let them think about each other. And instead, we're still kind of in that pack chasing Spurs and Chelsea. So it's a worry because kind of like a running theme we picked up on in that show was over the injuries and stuff and how we're getting there slowly. But there's not really many options for Klopp to change at the weekend. You know, we haven't really got the strength and depth that we need to make a change and do things. And anyone who we can bring on is probably going to be a kid. It'll either be Woodburn or Trent. And maybe there's a case to start one of them and look at bringing someone else on later in the game. I don't know, but you've just got to hope we've done enough already and that the other teams have still got more to do, if you know what I mean, because they've got to play each other. That it'll be okay, but you know, Stoke isn't maybe the game that you want to play after the back of Bournemouth, is it? You know, you've done someone else.
Yeah, you don't. Let's be perfectly honest, because we mentioned this, like in terms of this is the last truly tough in terms of turnaround and whatever week we've got in the season. You know, Everton, Bournemouth, Stoke. You're right, for 3 games back to back. Now you could say, yeah, much harder would be City, Chelsea, United. Absolutely, except not this season for some reason. But in terms of just the physicality of those games, and less so Bournemouth because of it, but still a tough game regardless. And given particularly how the game went, you've been battered and bruised in the derby. You go to a midweek game where you throw away, you drop 2 points to go to Stoke. Yeah, this is not an ideal set of circumstances for Liverpool at all.
No, it's not. Well, you know, they play 3 games in a week as well, and I'm sure they've got 5 injuries themselves, haven't they? You know, they're missing their Jack Butland and stuff like that. So I don't think their injuries really stack up to ours in the sense of ours are all banging first teamers, absolutely nailed on 100%. But it is, you're right, it's a tough game because of the Everton game, because of the way that the Bournemouth game came about, because of the mental issues that come with that result as well. I think that makes it really difficult. Phil Coutinho, is he sick? Is he going to be available? That's going to be a talking point building up to the game. So yeah, we've got things, you know, maybe this is the game where Daniel Sturridge comes back in and he scores a goal, and we've talked all the season about he's going to score goals for us.
He's literally the final senior player we have available on the bench at this point, so he best, well, that's a sense to put power pressure on, but I fucking well hope so. You know what I mean? Like, because if he can't impact, and if he's not fit enough to do it, then don't even bother taking him, mate. Leave him at home. Tell him to put his feet up, whatever. Tell him to start making future plans. But this is what we're going to need now between now and the end of the season. It's going to be a massive slog. Other teams are going to drop points. I think we will drop more points between now and the end of the season. The good thing is that at least we didn't lose to Bournemouth. What you don't want to do now is start losing games of football. What you want to do is put an unbeaten streak together, and that, provided we don't draw the next 7. If we can just
if we draw the next 7, we'll stay ahead of United. That's all they do.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know, but how many home games have they got left? That depends.
Sure.
Away games, they'll probably be all right, won't they? But but this is the thing. This is the point of the season now where we need to. You're right.
Tired.
We need to drain every last egg of energy from the legs in this squad. It's gonna take some, Herculean efforts from 1 or 2 people. We talked on the final word about Emre Can, who was battered and bruised at Everton, and he had to go out there, and I think he played through the pain barrier a bit. He's gonna have to do it again. Then he's gonna get a few days off to go and sit in an ice bath, and then he's gonna have to go again the week after that. We need this, and this is the thing is.
We definitely need a back to tank.
Yeah, back to tank could be spot on. But this is where Liverpool are this season. We don't have.
I'll get to that straight after this.
The level. Look at the players the squads have got around us. Liverpool don't have the ability to match up, and whether that's because we've not invested or whatever, it's irrelevant. This squad this season shouldn't be better than Man City. It shouldn't be better than Arsenal. It shouldn't be better than Man United. But you know what? We're right in the mix here. And then, given that we've lost, potentially now we could have the rest of the season without Jordan Henderson, without Adam Lallana, and without Sadio Mane. It's going to take something special to get us through this, and that's big opportunities for players to present themselves, and it's going to be a real scrap. But it's kind of how Liverpool have done it over the last 20 years.
If you're a young player, or if you're on the edges of this squad looking in, this is what you want. You don't want to be used in the arse end of a season like last year when we were bringing Ojo in because we're resting players for Europa League games. You want to be getting your opportunity in games that matters. I would. Yeah. I'd be looking at that. If I was in Ben Woodburn's shoes, I'd be like, brilliant, because I can show the manager here that I can do something. I want a first team place next season. I don't want to be used on the peripheries of this squad forever. This is what it's about. This is what we've got to stand up for. This is what we're fighting towards. This is why I've worked my arse off for the last 10 years trying to get a place into a football side. This is it. This is all about now. And every Liverpool player needs to be thinking about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you can get Premier League games if we're in the Champions League. Yeah. You can get cup games if we're in the Champions League. It opens everything up for these young guys' careers. Yeah. That's what they need to be focused on. Yeah. They need to be ready to capitalise.
This is it. And it's one of those things that people talk a lot about, it's different at the top level and all that, but I've been in footy teams when I've been on the bench and I've worked my way into a new team, and you don't just go straight into it. And look, I'll be honest, when someone gets injured, you rub your hands with glee. It's not a nice thing to say, but when someone comes in, you're like, great, there's my opportunity. Don't give a fuck. I just want to be in that team, and I want to prove myself. So yeah, hopefully there are players waiting in the wings there, and whether it's Daniel Sturridge, who knows with him at this point. Hopefully it is. But as you say, if it means that this is Ben Woodburn gets more games than he would have done, and this is his opportunity to burst onto the scene, brilliant. Take the opportunity, seize it with 2 hands, lad, and we'll go on. We're going to talk a little bit about how we think Liverpool are going to line up in injury news in a bit more depth in a moment. But first, trivia question. It's been 17 years since our first game against Stoke at the Britannia Stadium. I want people to name the score of that game, and for extra Brucey bonus points, the scorers as well.
Okay, yeah. I'm just going to check a text.
Yeah, so we'll come back to that later on in the show. Before we move on, actually, a little word from us about merchandise. In no way, shape or form inspired by anything that I normally wear. So, fingers crossed, Chris, that Philip Coutinho is okay.
Yeah?
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Cross toes, cross cocks, if that's what you're into. Whatever you feel you're comfortable with,
okay.
that we feel gives Phil Coutinho a better chance of playing this.
I'm not sure that'd be
cross
comfortable.
The streams. You know,
I'm not crossing the streams. You don't cross the streams, Paul.
Cross the streams.
What are you thinking? Bloody hell, man.
Cross swords, cross paths. Do whatever you got to do.
Don't cross the streams.
Don't cross the streams. Do not cross the streams.
Unless it's a small river, in that case you can cross it.
Just
get to the other side. Fine. The grass might be greener,
but don't cross the streams. I full on panic mode, mate. If we've got to face more games of football with less of our good players, as if the task isn't difficult enough as it is.
Yeah, you're right, but I'll go back to what I was saying just a couple of minutes ago. Is that people have to step up now if we want to get into the Champions League. It's going to come from somewhere that we don't know. We've talked about. I think we talked about it on the podcast this week. That the Man United player.
Federico Macheda.
Macheda, yes, the guy I always call Macheda. Man United used to have players that step up and score your goals to get your titles or get your cups or whatever. Liverpool needs some of them. They've needed them for years. Yeah. This might be the time when it could be Daniel Sturridge. We've just got to find a way of winning games. It doesn't have to be pretty.
This is the point, right, where I think, John, to some extent, and maybe it's still a little early in Klopp's regime, but it's not an FSG's, where we've decided, for better or for worse, to invest more in youth than in senior. And I still think that we've bought a few senior players, and most of them are our best players, are the senior players that we've bought. And you mentioned it, again on the final word, if we didn't invest in January, we chose not to. We chose to put our eggs in the upcoming summer transfer window. Now, if that's our path, no sense in recriminating about it. But what it means is exactly that. Some might say you can't put too much pressure on these young lads too soon. But the point is, John, we've chosen this as our path. And yes, we've been unlucky. We've been more unlucky than most with injuries, given how many senior players are out. But if this is the path we've taken, we've chosen to have, I know he's injured, but Ovie Ejaria, we've chosen to keep Ojo in and around. We've chosen Ben Woodburn. We've chosen to put Harry Wilson on the fringes of things. Trent Alexander-Arnold. If these lads aren't capable of contributing for the rest of the season, then it means that something is fundamentally fucked at the football club. No, I'm not saying, look, if these guys don't have to score the winning goals. They don't have to single-handedly drag us into top four. But we should expect that we should at least be okay having these lads in, otherwise the policy's wrong.
I'd love them to be an Albert Riera. Just do the frigging job. Do the job for the team. That's enough, innit?
They've got to, and you're right. It's got to be a kind of thing of like one of these lads ready. And the only thing that worries me slightly is that they don't seem to be the ones he picks off the bench. It's never them. If they're on the bench, it's never them who come on. It's always a Lucas or a Clavan or whoever. And we haven't got that now, so it's either them or nothing. And he's got to. I think he's got to look at it and look at the lads who he has played, like a Woodburn or a Trent, and go, right, you've had your 4 or 5 games at Anfield where you get used to just, I'm playing first team football, what have I got to do, this, that and the other. This is a different test for you. You're playing away, get on there and don't just go and be a body, get on and actually do things. They're probably going to, they're training with the squad anyway, so they're going to know what the roles are. Yeah. This is going to be the entry level. This is where you get in. You don't come in and be Philip Coutinho. You're understudy him. You do what he does when he can't play, and then you look at taking his role. You know what I mean? So there's capable lads on that bench. We've seen. Trent came on the derby and was really good.
Started away at United, didn't he as well?
Yeah, right back. Yeah. And then it's the same with Woodburn. Woodburn's already had the goal and stuff in the cup. But
did he come on at Tottenham, Woodburn, as well? So it's not like he hasn't done that, but the last few weeks, you're right.
A little bit more signs of it.
We've gone back the other way almost. Well, certainly this week.
Ask a question of you then, boys. If Coutinho's fit, if everyone who is available for midweek is available, and maybe you throw Matip back in instead of Clavan, let's say, was the system that we played and that as our current best starting 11 based on what we saw in the midweek? Is that good? Is that good enough, or do we need to make any change?
We beat that team 2-1 in that system in Bournemouth, so it was good enough.
Yeah,
and ultimately we scored 2 goals and conceded 1 that we probably won't concede another like that. Between now and the end of the season. So yeah, I think it's not ideal, the system was good enough to beat them. The system and the players were good enough to come from a goal behind to get themselves into a winning position.
Yeah, I think so much of our lining up, I think, depends upon what type of game plan Stoke are going to have. If I'm perfectly honest, I think I worry sometimes about what is the best way of us to play, and what we've said is we'd like to see Firmino kept central, but and maybe that means Origi sits on the bench. That's always maybe we reorder the pecking order because of the situation that we're in. But I could see this game if Stoke go back to the Tony Pulis core and they go, fuck you Liverpool, we're going to defend, we're going to sit in, and we're just going to frustrate, because you know what, a point's out for us. We're going nowhere in this league table anyway. Or Mark Hughes might think we'll go for a point and we'll snatch something, and I'll be rubbing my hands over that all day long, and probably other body parts. Whereas if they continue with this, we've got good players, we want to play a more positive brand of football. I would hope that would suit Divock Origi as the lone front man a little bit better, and we might be able to do more of it, play more counter-attacking, you know what I mean, and play a bit more on the break.
My worry actually is, and I feel bad saying this because I think he's been good the last few games, is actually Lucas in midfield, because I do fear that on the one hand, if they play good football, he might just absolutely don the midfield, and that'll help us. But on the other hand, I've got to worry that I know he's getting a yellow in the 81st minute, and if they play a physical game, does he get a yellow like he did against Bournemouth 5-10 minutes in, and then you're worried for an entire game about him getting down the pitch and stuff. So do you maybe have him on the bench with the aim of bringing him on?
But this is what's the inevitable question here? Who comes in where? Who else have we got? Who you go? So I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Put Emre Can back in there. That's great. Put Coutinho into where Can was. Right, who's going there? Woodburn? Is Woodburn, Origi, Firmino an attack you want to see? I'm not saying no. I just
Here's the thing for me. We've got to stick with the system that's got us this far. We've absolutely got to, and I'd rather play with one player like Divock Origi who's not in his his normal role than start moving players around like what you just alluded to there. And we've played well. There was patches of that game against Bournemouth where we played really well. We seem to have a little bit of a better understanding with Divock Origi than we've seen since he's come into the side this season. And let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. We're trying to develop Origi into a player that fits into a style of football. We've got to kind of keep pressing on. Yeah. And it's hard because it's the end of the season, but ultimately I do think that long term this is the way that we're going to play. And Divock needs to be able to play with these players, and we can't just keep switching to three at the back halfway through a game because it wasn't quite working out or we had an injury and stuff. We've just got to play the way we are and hope that we get the points that we can get to get us into the top four.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, great. John, have you got a score prediction?
2-1 Liverpool.
Okay.
If they play three at the back again, like they did against Burnley, I can see us tearing them apart like I think we did against Everton. I think our front three against Everton, really matched up against the three at the back really well. And if that's the case, I see it like maybe a 2-0, 3-0 type of a scoreline. So there you go. That's my score prediction.
For me, if Liverpool are going to win every game between now and the end of the season, it's going to be by one goal. We're either going to win it 1-0 or 2-1. And in this instance, I think 2-1 is a reasonable. And again, like I said it at half-time against Bournemouth, I'd take a horrible 2-1 all day long, because at this point of the season, I just don't care. I can put myself through it. I'm Liverpool. If you're watching collectively, I'm prepared. I'm prepared to put my body and my brain, put my emotions through the ringer to get through this season. If that's how you want to do it, provided that you can guarantee the outcome. I'm happy to stress out for 90 minutes about it. I'm happy to win it with a goal in the last minute and whatever you want to do, lads. Whatever you want to do. I'm happy to be 2 up and concede and have backs to the wall. If you're prepared if you're up for the fight and you're prepared to stick it out and get the 3 points each week, I genuinely do not care how we go about doing it, but it's got to start this weekend. We've got to start letting those little rays of hope that crept back into the Arsenal and the Man United dressing rooms in midweek. then they're thinking, oh, you know, this is back in our hands again. No, just want them thinking every single week when they get a win and we've got another win, and they go, oh, that's one less chance. Oh, we've got to pick ourselves up and do this again and again and again. And we just need to keep putting that pressure on. And like I say, by any means necessary, Liverpool. By any means necessary. Trivia question was then, 17 years since our first game at the Britannia. What was the score and who were the scorers? Start with the score.
1-0 Stoke.
More famous than that, much more famous.
2-0 Liverpool.
The score was 8-0 to Liverpool.
Okay.
Famously, of course, in the League Cup 4th round. Goal scorers.
Fowler.
Fowler hat-trick.
Nice.
Heskey.
No, Emil Heskey was on the bench for that game. Let me give you 2 more were attacking mids and the two were defenders. No, 3 were defenders.
Sammy.
Hey.
Jamie.
No.
Babel.
Correct.
Ziga.
Correct.
Bang! Take that.
Attacking midfielders.
Danny
Murphy and played wide more.
Wide and more. Patrick Berger.
No, other side.
Oyvind Leonardson.
His mate.
Smitcha.
He was Czech, he was great. He was Paddy Berger's mate, and yeah, he scored in that. There you go, yeah. Another 8-0, it would be absolutely spiffing this weekend.
That was the best trivia question of the season.
That's good, like that. That's good.
Loved it.
But yeah, there you go. Thanks very much for watching. Thank you very much for subscribing. If you haven't done so already, click the Redmen TV logo. If you want to watch Chris's starting 11 prediction show, you can. It'll be on the screen. You can click it. You can go through and you can watch Chris's basically stress on a screen as he tries to predict who the frigging hell is going to play in this game. Anyway, thanks. We'll be round with the usual wrap of post-match.
Aren't you gonna promote
content.
me FIFA predictor?
Chris is back with a FIFA predictor.
I've actually been booted off it. Paul's doing
Go
it.
and watch it. Go and watch it. See what we're talking about.